Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a book that's, well, it's not just about money. It's designed to make you question pretty much everything about your reality.
So let's jump right in with a question that really gets to the core of Jacob Lund Fisker's whole philosophy. It might sound a little out there at first, but trust me on this. Getting this one concept is the key to unlocking a totally different way of thinking about life.
So who's the mind behind this radical idea? A guy named Jacob Lund Fisker. And you gotta know, he's not your typical finance guru. He's a physicist, a polymath, and that background in systems thinking is absolutely crucial here. For him, personal finance isn't just about spreadsheets and budgets. No, it's a whole interconnected system of your lifestyle, your skills, and your psychology.
Okay, so the book came out in 2010, and let me be clear, this is not a book for picking hot stocks. Nope. This is for you if you've ever felt just stuck, trapped in that 9-to-5 grind, the endless cycle of work, spend, repeat, and you're looking for a real, fundamental escape hatch.
All right, let's get into the first big concept. Fisker's main argument is that our modern world is basically a version of Plato's cave. You remember that from philosophy class? The idea is, most of us are like prisoners, chained up, staring at a wall, and we think the shadows we see flickering on it are the real world.
And this quote really nails it. So what are these shadows today? Well, think about it. Fancy job titles, new cars, the latest phone, all that stuff. We're basically programmed to believe that those are the things that equal success. But what Fisker is saying is, they're not real. They're just a made-up reality that we've all kind of bought into without even thinking about it. This really lays it out perfectly, right? Look at the left side, the shadow world. That's where we're chasing things like job titles and granite countertops. But the reality is traffic jams and that soul-crushing work-spend cycle. Now, look at the right, the real world, outside the cave. It's about stuff you can actually hold on to. Real skills, true financial freedom, resilience, and a life that actually feels like it has a purpose.
Okay, so if we're all stuck in this cave, how in the world do we get out? Well, the good news is Fisker gives us a blueprint. And the actual mechanics, they're surprisingly simple. The hard part, though, is changing your entire mindset to actually do it.
So how fast can you really do it? How quickly can you break free? The answer comes down to one thing, and it's probably not what you think. It's got nothing to do with how much money you make. It's all about one thing, the gap between your income and your expenses. And boom, here it is. This chart is basically the mathematical heart of the entire book. Look at this. Your path to freedom isn't about chasing a bigger salary. It's a straight-up function of your savings rate. If you save a normal 10%, you're looking at, 51 years of work? Half a century. But just look, if you can crank that up to 75%, we're talking about financial independence in just 7 years. It's not a fantasy anymore. It's just math. And this right here is why that work-spend cycle is such a dangerous trap. Think about it. Every time something breaks and you pay someone to fix it, every time you buy a pre-made meal instead of cooking, you're outsourcing your life skills. And that makes you fragile. It makes you totally 100% dependent on that next paycheck. You're literally caged by your own helplessness.
So the escape plan boils down to these 3 pillars, and they all work together. First, you just have to radically cut your consumption. Second, you shift from being just a consumer to being a producer. And third, you find meaningful things to do that aren't tied to spending money. See, it's way more than just being cheap. It's a total transformation.
Okay, so where does all this lead? It leads to what Fisker calls his ideal, the modern Renaissance person. And let's be super clear. This is not about retiring so you can sit on a beach and do nothing. It's about retiring to something, to a life where you are incredibly capable and truly free. Our society is obsessed with making us specialists, right? Go deep in one thing, get that one high-paying job. But what happens if that job goes away? You're fragile. The Renaissance ideal flips that on its head. It's about building this wide web of practical skills. You become a generalist, adaptable, what you might call anti-fragile. You stop being the person who buys the solution and start being the person who is the solution. And what kind of person does that create? Someone who isn't just financially independent, but genuinely free. You start to see the world as a big interconnected system. You understand how stuff works, and you can handle pretty much anything life throws at you because you never, ever stop learning. And Fisker makes a fantastic point here. He says building this web of skills isn't just some clever life hack. It's literally what makes us human. Think about it. Animals are super specialized. The cheetah is the fastest, the elephant is the strongest. But humans, We rule the planet because we're the ultimate generalists. We can adapt to anything, and that's our superpower. I love this quote because it's such a simple but powerful litmus test. So, which one are you? When something breaks, are you the person who calls the repair guy? Or are you the repair guy? If you're the second one, you are the master of your stuff. If you're the first, well, maybe your stuff is the master of you.
And really, the whole philosophy can be boiled down to this one idea. Stop letting the stuff you own define who you are. When you identify with an object, it ends up owning you. The goal isn't just to have less stuff. It's to find your identity in what you can do, not in what you can buy.
All right, we've gone deep into some pretty heavy, challenging ideas. So what's the verdict? What should we take away from all this?
For me, the final lesson is this complete 180 on the definition of wealth. True wealth isn't having the freedom to buy whatever you want, it's having the freedom from needing to buy anything in the first place. It's about building a life so full of skill and resilience that you just don't need the marketplace to survive and thrive.
So, our feedback? Look, this is not your typical personal finance book. Not even close. It's more like a dense, philosophical manual for how to live a deliberate life. It's tough, it's not a light read, and it's going to make you question, well, everything. But if you're the right kind of person for it, it could absolutely change your life.
So, for its incredible depth, its power to completely shift your perspective, and for offering a real, workable alternative to the consumer rat race, we're giving Early Retirement Extreme a solid 9 out of 10.
And hey, if this got your wheels turning and you want to dive even deeper, you should definitely check out a couple of other classics in this space. Your Money or Your Life by Vicky Robin and Joe Dominguez, and Robert Kiyosaki's The Cash Flow Quadrant.
And that's a wrap on our explainer of Early Retirement Extreme. It's a book that really leaves you with one simple but massive question. Are you actually living your own life, or are you just watching someone else's shadows on the wall?
Make sure you follow and subscribe because you are not going to want to miss our next breakdown of another big idea. Thanks for joining me.